All right, welcome back for another deep dive
Yes, welcome back.
into embracing hope.
Yes.
We are picking up with Chapter 4, Practical Matters.
Ooh, practical matters.
I like it because it feels like, okay, we've, talked
Yeah.
about hope and all these
Right.
different things. What can we,
How do we actually make it work?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What can we do to actually, make some of this stuff work
Yeah.
for us, especially when, we're talking about difficult times in our lives?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, okay, we've explored some of the concepts, the ideas behind embracing hope, but now it's like,
Yeah.
let's get down to the brass tacks.
Yeah.
What are the actual tangible things we can do
Yeah.
to cultivate that sense of hope in our everyday lives?
Exactly. So this chapter, Practical Matters, kind of lays out almost like a toolkit, I would say,
It's
for
roadmap. Yeah.
a blueprint
Yeah.
for actually putting these ideas into action. Right. And so one of the things that really resonated with me reading this chapter was this idea of small victories.
Hmm.
Have you ever noticed, as the listener has probably noticed this too, that it's so easy to get overwhelmed
No, absolutely.
by a problem or a
Mm.
situation, and it's like it feels so big.
Right. It's like you're standing at the base of this, this massive mountain.
Yes.
And you're like, how am I ever going to climb this thing?
Exactly.
It feels insurmountable.
And this chapter suggests that maybe instead of focusing on the big problem, we look for those small victories,
Mm-hmm.
the small things that we can actually accomplish.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, and it makes perfect sense, right? Because when we focus on those small victories, it gives us a sense of momentum. It gives us a sense of accomplishment.
Right.
And it helps us to feel like we're actually making progress
Yeah.
rather than just feeling stuck
Right.
and overwhelmed.
Right. And there's even there's almost like I don't know, a scientific thing behind this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like when you accomplish something, even if it's small,
Right.
it releases dopamine in your brain or something.
It
right?
does, yeah. It triggers the reward centers
Yeah.
in our brain.
Yeah.
So every time we achieve something, even a tiny goal, our brain is like,
Yeah.
hey, good job. Let's do more of that.
Yes, exactly. So it's like it's encouraging you.
It's a positive feedback loop.
No.
It's like, giving yourself those little pats on the back
Yeah.
to keep going.
I like that.
It's like, you're training for a marathon. You're not going to start by running 26 miles.
Right. Yeah.
You start with a mile.
Yeah.
Then 2 miles. You build up gradually.
Exactly. So if the listener is thinking okay, well, what's a small victory?
Right.
What does that even look like in my life?
Yeah. What's a tangible example?
Yeah. What would you say?
Well, think about something that often feels overwhelming. Maybe it's cleaning your entire house, right?
Yeah, like deep cleaning the whole house.
Right. It's like, who has time for that?
Nobody has time for that.
But instead of letting that daunting task completely paralyze you, what if you just focused on one room?
Okay. Yeah.
Just one room.
Yeah.
Like really deep clean that one room, and boom,
Yeah.
small victory achieved.
Yeah.
You can
see it.
celebrate that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Put on some music, have a little dance party.
Yeah.
Does it
Exactly.
feel
Your
okay?
sparkling clean room.
And it doesn't have to be cleaning. It could be anything,
After
right? It
this
could be
yeah.
tackling a pile of paperwork that's been, sitting on your desk for weeks.
Yep. Organizing your inbox.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Even responding to one email
Yeah.
can be a small victory.
Right. Like I did one thing today.
Okay.
I accomplished one thing.
Preparing a healthy meal instead of ordering takeout.
Yes.
Even taking a 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
Those are all small victories.
That contribute to a larger goal of, taking care of yourself, taking care of your space, taking care of your life.
And it's not just the, practical outcome of those
Yeah.
tasks, right?
It's the psychological impact.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's that dopamine.
Exactly. It's that sense of accomplishment, no matter how small, that can really shift our entire mindset
Yeah.
and give us the momentum to keep moving forward.
Yes, and it builds confidence, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's like, oh,
Yeah, you're proving to yourself that you can do things.
I can do this.
Even when things feel tough.
I can do this.
You're building that resilience muscle,
Right.
step by step, small victory by small victory.
Exactly. So that was a big one that I took away from this chapter.
Yeah.
Was this idea of small victories.
Mm.
Another thing that kind of stood out to me was I was surprised by this
Mm.
was the emphasis on organization.
Mm.
And I think, it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
But at first I was kind of like, really?
Like filing. Really?
Yeah, like who wants to think about, taxes and insurance and all that stuff when you're dealing with a difficult situation.
Right. It's like the last thing you want to be thinking about.
But the book argues that there's a real emotional benefit to having your affairs in order.
Absolutely. It's about reducing anxiety.
Okay.
And fostering a sense of control.
Oh. Okay, so how so?
Well, think about it. Knowing where your important documents are.
Right.
Having a clear financial picture. It just eliminates that nagging worry.
Yeah.
That can just sit in the back of your mind.
Right.
It frees up your mental energy to focus on what truly matters.
So it's almost kind of like taking care of things in advance.
It's like a preemptive strike against future stress.
I like that.
You're setting yourself up for success by creating a sense of order and preparedness.
Right. In your life.
Right. So even if you're not in the middle of a difficult situation,
right,
this is still something good to be doing.
Absolutely. It's like, it's like preventative maintenance, for your mental well-being.
Exactly.
And I think it ties in beautifully with the previous point about small victories.
Oh, how so?
Because even the act of organizing, like, say, just organizing one drawer or creating a simple budget spreadsheet, those can be small victories in themselves.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And contribute to that overall feeling of empowerment.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm taking control of my life.
Yeah, I got this one drawer at a time.
Exactly. One drawer, one file, one email at a time.
I like it.
It all adds up.
So it's all interconnected.
It is. It's all part of this bigger picture.
That's so interesting.
Of embracing hope and creating a life that feels manageable and meaningful.
Exactly. Now, the last key takeaway that I wanted to touch on
from this chapter that really stood out to me was this idea of accepting help.
Yes.
And I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with.
So much.
Yeah. I know I do.
It's hard.
We have this, we're kind of conditioned to think that we have to do everything ourselves.
Right.
Like, asking for help is a sign of weakness.
It's like we should be able to handle everything on our own. Yeah. Be completely self-sufficient.
Yeah. But the book encourages us to really reframe perspective.
Totally.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's so important because, when you offer help to someone,
right,
do you see it as a burden?
No.
Or a sign of weakness on their part?
Not at all.
Of course not. You're offering support because you care.
Right.
You want to help.
Yeah.
So why do we view it so differently when we're on the receiving end?
That's a really good point.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Yeah.
We're stronger together. And that accepting help, whether it's with practical tasks, emotional support, or just a listening ear, it's an act of self-awareness and self-care.
Okay.
It's acknowledging that we don't have to go through challenges alone.
Yeah, it's allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, right, and receive the support that's available to us.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's hard to see the support that's available.
It is, yeah.
But often it's, people want to help.
They do.
They just don't know how.
Right.
And so I think it's up to us to sometimes just say, like, hey, you know what? I could really use some help with this.
Yeah, just being open to you receiving that support.
So to kind of wrap things up here with practical matters, it really boils down to these three, powerful actions.
These three pillars of practical hope.
I like that.
Yeah.
Embracing small victories, fostering a sense of organization in our lives, and remembering that strength in accepting help.
It's not a weakness.
It's not.
It's a strength.
And the thing that I love about this is that even when life feels completely out of control, these are things that we can control.
Absolutely.
Like, these actions are within our control.
They remind us that we have agency.
Yeah.
And we can take steps to cultivate hope and build resilience.
Even in the face of challenges.
Even when things are tough.
Yeah.
We still have the power to choose how we respond.
Exactly.
And to take actions that move us in the direction of hope.
I love that. So, listener, as we close out our deep dive into practical matters today, what's one small action inspired by this chapter that you can commit to doing today?
What's one small step you can take today?
It could be tidying up a space. It could be reaching out to a friend.
Yep.
It could be acknowledging a small victory that you've already achieved.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, just remember that even the smallest step forward is a step toward a brighter future.
Absolutely.
All right, until next time,
See you then.
keep embracing hope.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.